Hey, I'm Jamie East, and today's episode of The Smart 7 is sponsored by Vodafone Business in partnership with Samsung. If you're running a business, any kind of business, you're probably spending some time thinking about AI, what to do, how much to use it, and how to even get started. The answer could be in your pocket. The new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, powered by Vodafone Business's reliable, award-winning network, will help you unleash your productivity through brilliant built-in Galaxy AI. For example, Note Assist will automatically correct, fix the spelling, formatting and organise your meeting notes so you can stay tuned into the session without any worry. And AI continues to make headlines. This week sees the government set to roll out a new AI-powered tool called Consult, which experts estimate could save £20 million a year and free up 75,000 hours of civil service time. So of course, they're calling it Humphrey. Huh? Getting back to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, to take advantage of all the features and change the way you do business, you'll need a Samsung account and a network connection. To find out more, search Vodafone Business Samsung, and for network verification, go to vodafone.co.uk/network. On today's Smart 7, Israel condemned over aid blockade, Trump calls on Ukraine ceasefire, and much more. It's Wednesday, 21st of May. It's World Meditation Day, and happy birthday, Noel Fielding.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Pressure continued to mount on Israel on Tuesday as there was no sign of any actual aid arriving into Gaza, despite a promise by Israeli PM Netanyahu on Sunday to lift the blockade. Israel says it's approved 100 trucks of aid, but only 5 have actually arrived, and the UN is warning that up to 14,000 babies are at risk of death if the aid is not delivered quickly. The leader of the Israeli centre-left Democrats says his country is in danger of becoming a pariah nation that kills babies as a hobby. Speaking in Parliament, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemned Israel's refusal to help the 2 million people in dire need.
Well, the situation is intolerable and unacceptable, and that's why over the last 3 or 4 days I've been talking to leaders of other countries. Humanitarian aid needs to get in at pace.
With no sign of the aid being delivered, the UK has decided to end its trade talks with Israel, and Foreign Secretary David Lammy condemned Israel's failure to act.
Netanyahu's government is planning to drive Gazans from their homes and permit them a fraction of the aid that they need. We must call this what it is. It is extremism. It is monstrous, and I condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
Tuesday saw Prime Minister Keir Starmer present the details of the proposed new EU-UK trade deal to the House of Commons. The deal, which sees changes on border checks, new agreements on trade, and the prospect of Brits being allowed to use EU passport gates, has been generally positively welcomed, but the former Brexiteers were out in force in the Commons, with the exception of Reform leader Nigel Farage, who apparently is on holidays, but presumably not in Europe. He tweeted that the new deal is a surrender agreement, but didn't appear for the debate, while Tory leader Kemi Badenoch was unimpressed by the PM's deal-making streak.
When Labour negotiates, Britain loses. He talks about a hat-trick of deals. They are own goals.
Minister for EU Relations Nick Thomas-Simons, who helped negotiate the deal, had no concerns about the Brexit hornet's nest that the deal appears to have stirred up.
Support for this deal across a range of businesses. And that wide support is there because this is a deal that is in our economic interests and is going to be advantageous economically up and down the country.
Ukrainian President Zelensky accused Russia of buying time to try and continue the war on Tuesday after the much-anticipated phone call between Trump and Putin yielded no significant result. The European Union launched a fresh wave of sanctions on Russia, focusing on Russia's so-called shadow fleet of oil tankers, and the EU's foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas called for the US to wade in with strong action if no ceasefire is forthcoming. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio was promising more aid for Ukraine, including requesting European allies to send Patriot batteries, but it's clear that Donald Trump's appetite for a ceasefire is waning. Former Republican Speaker Kevin McCarthy told Radio 4 that Trump deserves praise for his efforts.
He's willing to take the risk that no one else is doing right now to try to end war and criticize him because he didn't do it in 24 hours. I think you're wrong. And I applaud President Trump for using the leadership to do it, and I, with other leaders, would join with him.
The government signalled on Tuesday that demolition of the Grenfell Tower could begin as early as September. It's been almost 8 years since the tragedy, and the decision earlier this year to demolish the tower angered families of the victims who felt they hadn't been fully consulted over the issue. Deputy PM Angela Rayner is responsible for the housing department, and she was busy on Tuesday addressing a housing conference in Leeds and talking up the government's progress on their plan for change. She spoke to Channel 4 News and was busy defending the government's plan to reform the welfare system.
We've had a decade of managed decline where people haven't been given the opportunity. They've seen unfairness in the system. They've seen those opportunities snatched away from them. So we want to create a jobs market where people have good skilled jobs, where they can raise their family, and that hasn't been the case for such a long time, and that's what we're turning around.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, in association with Metro, City bid farewell to Kevin De Bruyne and the scary clown is back. Right after this. Hey, it's Jamie East here, and today's episode of the Smart 7 is sponsored by Vodafone Business in partnership with Samsung. When you're running your own business, pretty much anywhere can be your office. The spare room, the back garden, or, even the local cafe. And with the power of Vodafone Business's reliable award-winning network, combined with the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, there's no limit to what you can do pretty much anywhere. For example, if you're working and caffeinating at the same time, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra will allow you to seamlessly complete actions across a whole range of apps to find relevant information and send it where it needs to go. It can even summarise YouTube videos for you and save it to Samsung Text Notes. That's the power of AI in your pocket. And AI continues to make headlines. This week sees the government set to roll out a new AI-powered tool called Consult, which experts estimate could save £20 million a year and free up 75,000 hours of civil service time. So, of course, they're calling it Humphrey. Huh? And getting back to Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, to take advantage of all the features and change the way you do business, you'll need a Samsung account and a network connection. And if you're using the seamless action across apps, it's compatible with selected languages only. You'll also need a Google account login, and the availability of search functions may vary by country, language and device. To find out more, search Vodafone Business Samsung, and for network verification, go to vodafone.co.uk/network. Welcome back. There were 2 Premier League games on Tuesday night as Crystal Palace faced Wolves and Man City welcomed Bournemouth. City stalwart Kevin De Bruyne was playing his final game at the Etihad, while Crystal Palace were hoping to shake off any FA Cup hangover and pick up some points before the final day of the season on Sunday. Palace chalked up a 4-2 win against Wolves, while Man City beat Bournemouth 3-1 in a game that saw the long-injured Rodri return. There were tributes to De Bruyne at the end of the game, and even manager Pep Guardiola was a little emotional as he bid farewell to the midfielder.
Everybody felt the connection that he has, and he will have forever with our people and our fans. So you felt it in the moment and every word.
We've seen quite a bit of the Jonas Brothers over the years, but it turns out there's another one. Franklin is the youngest of the 4 brothers, and he's dipping his toe into music now with brother Joe. Joe's got a new solo single out called Heart by Heart from a new album called Music for People Who Believe in Love, which definitely has some divorced dad energy. He popped up with Kelly Clarkson to chat music and inviting the youngest Jonas to join him.
He's a really talented kid, and it was fun to work with him on this. I kept hearing his voice when I did this one song, Velvet Sunshine, and so I sent it to him. I was like, would you be down to do this? And I think his response was just all like, just in caps, the word. And I was like, is that a good thing? And he came back, he's like, no, I would really love to be a part of it. I was like, great. So it's fun to work with the whole family.
If you have coulrophobia, then this last story probably isn't for you. That's the fear of clowns, by the way, and when it comes to the clown in it, you're probably right to be scared. Stephen King's original novel has had a long lifespan since its original publication in 1986. It was made into a TV miniseries in the 90s, then there were 2 films in 2017 and 2019, and now there's a new TV show on the way. This is a prequel to the 2 movies, and it's called It, Welcome to Derry. It sees Bill Skarsgård return as the terrifying Pennywise, and 9 episodes are due to drop on HBO later this year.
No adult's ever gonna believe what we saw. I wouldn't. There's a history of stuff like this happening in Derry.
You kids keep your noses out of police business.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day.
Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Optimize your nutrition this year with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Eat smarter at factormeals.com/listen50 and use code LISTEN50 for 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Factormeals.com/listen50. Code LISTEN50.